And tonight we are also going beyond the headlines in the campaign to legalize recreational marijuana here in Oregon. It is now official. It will be on the ballot in November, but does it really have a chance of passing? We're looking into what's different this time around. Organizers with New Approach Oregon tell us that the measure this time is smarter and more responsible. Jessica Morkert is checking into their claims, and she joins us now live with more on what she found out
Kelly, organizers tell me this measure gives a detailed explanation on who, what, when, where, and how marijuana will be regulated, as opposed to measures in the past. What is different on this year's ballot as opposed to ones past?
This measure is completely different from any measure of this type that Oregon voters have ever seen.
Supporters tell me this time around Oregon is lucky with a recreational marijuana measure that replicates the best of Colorado and Washington. Unlike the measure that failed here 2 years ago, the Control, Regulation, and Taxation of Marijuana and Hemp Act would legalize sales of marijuana to adults 21 years old and older only, as opposed to no specific age limit in years past. It would be regulated by existing agencies, the OLCC and the Department of Revenue, as opposed to a new state agency proposed before.
It would establish a specific tax program so that money, instead of going into the black market, would pay for crucial public services.
Peter Zuckerman with New Approach Oregon tells me after 50 different drafts and countless consultations with law enforcement, parents, the governor, and drug treatment experts, the final version was accepted with strict rules on who can be licensed and the testing and labeling of recreational marijuana. Zuckerman tells me the legalize effort has roughly 54% of support in the community, with many citing government waste. We learned in counties across the state there are at least 12,000 arrests and citations every year connected to marijuana.
That is a huge waste of resources that police could be focusing on violent crimes like stopping car thefts.
But many opponents say marijuana here is a dangerous proposition and recommend waiting to see how things shake out in Colorado and Washington over a longer period of time. And back here live now, some argue that the transition here in Oregon will go much more smoothly because of existing medical marijuana shops like you see right here. Measure 80, which failed back in 2012, I found out it didn't pass by a margin of roughly 53 to 46%. Live in Northeast Portland, Jessica Morkert, KOIN 6 News.